Just take a look at this picture. This nice van. Real cream puff. Zero hedge. Living in a van down by the river. Time to face the true state of the middle class in America. Or at least where we're heading. So what do? I think of a parody. When I see this, I think my mind says parody. My Miss American Pie drove the Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. So not even down by the river's dry, right? Do you remember the old Saturday Night Live sketches in which comedian Chris Farley, man, did I love Chris Farley, portrayed a motivational speaker that lived in a van down by the river? Unfortunately, this is becoming a reality for way too many Americans. As the middle class has shrunk and the cost of living has increased, unless you listen to the Federal Reserve. Nope, 5% unemployment, inflation's very low. No. Okay, would you mind telling me what you used to come up with that calculation? Or what calculation you used to come up with that? We've changed it about 25 times in the last 20 years. You've changed the formula of how to come up with that answer? Yes. About 25 times in 20 plus years? Yeah, that's a Big Ten for. What happens if we go back to previous year's model? The numbers that we would show you right now, they would be terrible. So it's in your best interest to change the formula to something that always, no matter what's happening, shows fantastic numbers. Shows the party is still going, when in reality the ship's freaking sinking. So again, as the middle class has shrunk and the cost of living has increased, a lot of people have decided to quite literally live on the road. Whether it is a car, a truck, a van, a bus, an RV, an increasing number of Americans are using their vehicles as their homes. Just recently, someone that I know took a trip down the west coast of the U.S. and stayed at a number of campgrounds along the way. What she discovered was that a lot of people were actually living at these campgrounds. Of course, there are some that actually prefer that lifestyle, but many others are doing it out of necessity. Now, let me stop here for a second because I'm trying to think. I think we watched a documentary a little while back, my wife and I, and it was one of these things. It was about weed. Matter of fact, it may have been on that channel Viceland that I was telling you about. They have like this documentary kind of series. It's really neat. Viceland. I think it was out, and they're talking about marijuana, how one of their kids has these seizures and stuff. Give the kid marijuana, medical marijuana, and it pretty much stops all together. Just the girl's been doing great, but they had to move to Colorado in order to get the right, whether it's a red card or whatever card to get this. They essentially just had to become citizens there. So they sold their house, they sold everything they had. The father left his job, even though the job said if you need to come back, we've got a spot here for you, which was good. They went up there. Man, we need to stay here for our daughter's sake. Job, resume. Can't find a job. They're counting their pennies. Okay, honey, you got to go back to work. We're going to stay here at a campground, by the way, and you're going to go back to work. So they had like a little RV they were all living in. Okay, honey, I'll see you when I can. Got to go back to Texas. I think this is where they're from, Texas, to earn some income. So they sold their house, had some cash out of that deal, and used it to buy the RV, get over there, get set up in the hopes that he would find another job. And he waited and waited, trying very hard, trying to get a job, can't get a job. So he said, well, I'm going to go back to Texas. I got my job waiting on me, thank God. I'll work there. And in the meantime, I will still be actively seeking employment in Colorado. And if I can land a job, I'll quit my job again to go up there. So speaking of that, I just thought of a story I just, saw in it was about a couple weeks ago, whatever. Earlier this week, Circa.com posted a story about the van life. And by the way, any of you Floridians, you'll know this. I'm from Florida, You ever see those cars on the street with a sticker. Salt Life. Salt Life. I'll be honest, it kind of bothers me. What is this nonsense, Salt Life? Because you live in Florida? You don't even probably go to the beach anymore. It's Salt Life. Get out of here. Now they've got Van Life. Salt Life, back when we were good, had a nice place in Florida, making big, or just average, middle class. I was going to say big bucks. That's not even necessary. Average income. That went away. Job market sucks. Salt Life, pulling that sticker off. Van Life, 10-4. Let's go. One of the individuals that they featured was a recent graduate of the University of Southern California named Stephen Hutchins. Without much of an income at the moment, he decided that the best way to cut expenses was to live in his van. Quote, the main expenses are insurance for the van, which is like $60 a month, he says. Then I have a storage unit for like $60. To store stuff. That puts his monthly rent at about $120. The van cost him just $125 at an auction. So he bought a beat-up van for $125. Hutchins, good job, buddy. Living in a van is certainly not the most comfortable way to go, and many of you are probably wondering how he performs basic tasks such as, cooking and bathing. Well, it turns out that he makes extensive use of public facilities. They are available. He showers at the gym, cooks on a portable stove on a sidewalk. He stores his butane at his friend's place nearby and uses Wi-Fi at nearby coffee shops. And I'll tell you, years ago, I used to volunteer for the sheriff's office. And we'd be on patrol Friday nights. Again, we were a citizen patrol type of thing. We didn't have any kind of authority, no law enforcement. We would help at like an accident, help shut a road down, traffic lights out, minimal stuff. It was a volunteer position. I enjoyed getting out Friday nights with some of my partners, just patrolling around, having, chit-chatting, just having a whatever, I'm not going to say a good time because sometimes it was pretty boring. But anyways, I remember going to the public library in our zone, one of the public libraries in our zone. And almost every time we went out, there was at least one or two people there in their car at night, and we would patrol from 6 p.m. to about midnight. We'd go for 6-hour shifts, and we couldn't go past midnight unless we were actually on a call and they needed us to stay or something. Anyways, there were people in the parking lot at night. Again, it's closed, guys. We try not to, when we see them they're using Wi-Fi. They're not like, having sex in a car in the parking lot of the library. Okay, we're good. You can stay and play on your iPhone or iPad or whatever the hell you got. Which means they can't afford internet, so they have to use their phone and go to a public library to get the Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi is always on, all hours of the day. Anyways, back to the story. For a while, such lifestyle may seem like an adventure, but after a while, it will start getting really old. And not a lot of women are going to be excited about dating a man that lives in a van, and you certainly wouldn't want to raise a family in a vehicle. Sadly, just like during the last economic crisis, many Americans are getting to the point where staying in their homes may not be an option. Just check out the following excerpt from a recent New York Post article titled, "The Terrifying Signs of a Looming Housing Crisis." That's funny. Webbot already called that in advance. I don't even need to read that story. The number of New Yorkers applying for emergency grants to stay in their homes is skyrocketing, as the number of people staying in homeless shelters reached an all-time high just last weekend. Records show there were 82,306 applications for one-time emergency grants to prevent evictions in fiscal year 2016, which is up 26%, a quarter, from 65,138 requests the previous year, according to the Mayor's Management Report. Mayor, you better take some lines from Barack in the club. They'll show you how to cook those books nicely and give you some real good statistics that make it look like it didn't increase at all. It's actually going down. 5% unemployment. Again, Barack, 5% unemployment. This just went up 26% from a year ago. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, anyone says the economy's not doing well is peddling fiction. The mayor's management report, Mr. Barack, just raised the BS flag on your peddling fiction story. I put a couple of phrases in that quote in bold because I really wanted you to notice a couple of things. First of all, it is very alarming to hear that the number of New Yorkers staying in homeless shelters reached an all-time high last weekend. I thought that we were supposed to be in an economic recovery, but apparently things in New York are rapidly getting worse. Yeah, and I'll tell you another little secret. It's not just New York. In case you didn't know that, just by chance, fill you in on that, Little bonus, Jason for. Secondly, the fact that applications for emergency grants are up 26% compared to last year is another indication of how rough things are right now for the average American family in New York. We all remember what happened when millions of families lost their homes to foreclosure across the nation during the last financial crisis, and nobody should want to see a repeat of that anytime soon. During the election, or this election season, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton would like all of us to believe that the economy is doing just fine. But that is not true at all. Even using the doctored numbers that the government gives us, Barack Obama is solidly on track to be the only president in all of U.S. history to never have a single year of 3% or higher GDP growth. And he has had 2 terms to try and do that. Gallup CEO Jim Clifton is also quite skeptical of this economic recovery, and he recently authored an article on this subject that is receiving a tremendous amount of attention. The following is how that article begins. I've been reading a lot about a recovering economy. It was even trumpeted on page 1 of the New York Times and Financial Times last week. I don't think it's true. The percentage of Americans who say they are in the middle or upper class has fallen 10 percentage points from a 61% average between 2000 and 2008 to 51% today. And I'll throw a bonus on top of that. When a slave recognizes he's a slave and then tells the other slave, guys, we're slaves, a lot of times the other slaves don't believe it. No, we're not. Everything's fine. What are you talking about? We have a place to stay. We have a bed. We have a roof over our head. We get to eat every night. What the hell are you talking about? We're slaves. Well, there's a master. He tells us what to do and when to do it. And if we don't listen, he whips us and starves us. And we can never leave the property. So, okay. Thanks for talking. Have a nice day. In other words, you may still consider yourself middle class because you've been that way the whole time. And that's how I've been the middle class. Only to find out, ooh, maybe not. You want to know a perfect example? My mama. Mommy. Mom. Can you tuck me in? My mom had a house with my father. They got divorced several years back. She went to live with my sister. My dad lives in a guy's rented room out of his house on a couple acres. He loves it there. $500 a month includes everything. Everything's paid for. $500 a month. He loves it there. My mom, on the other hand, doesn't have a pot to piss in, etc. Lives with my sister. Doesn't pay any rent. Still hardly ever has any money. Works very minimal, part-time. But before that happened exactly, okay, I'm divorcing your dad. I'm tired of being with him. Yada, yada, yada. We got out of the house. It got short-sold, whatever. I can't remember how the conversation went that made her reply, but the old mom living the way she used to live, not that she was some kind of, spending way above her means kind of thing, but my mom would go to the store. She'd buy stuff. Oh, I'm going to go to the mall. I'm going to do this. Oh, I got the kids this. But Mom, you don't need to do that. No, I got the kids this. I want to get it for them. But Mom, you don't have that kind of money. Oh, no, I want to get it anyways. Okay, Mom. Not a good way to live, but all right. But not real bad, I'll be honest. Not like over the top. Just little knickknacks and things here and there. She wasn't a hoarder or anything. But then she moved in with my sister. And I forgot the conversation that was happening. But she got a little upset and yelled out, I refuse to live in poverty. Mom, your bank account, your credit cards, You not paying rent? You living with Andrea, my sister? Says you're living in poverty. If she wasn't here, and I wasn't here, because if she wasn't, of course I'd take my mom in, you would be on the streets homeless. You would have to go live with your mom, who's 80-something years old. And her son, which is my uncle, my mom's brother, is doing well, has a good head on his shoulders, thinks smart, invests in silver as well, sees what's going on. We've had numerous conversations. He's on point. He is essentially subsidizing my grandma, his mom, again, my mom's mom, so grandma can live in this condo or apartment, whatever it is. So you look at some of these things and say, if that wasn't in place, you refuse to live in poverty, you are in poverty. But she refused to believe it. No, I'm still middle class. I'm still middle class because I've been middle class my whole life. Nope, wrong. So again, I'm just saying that little side example there to show you that even though it's down 10%, 61% average between 2000 and 2008 is now 51% today. That's the people who recognize it. There's a lot of people who don't recognize it. They're not aware of it. They don't think because I live paycheck to paycheck, but I still have a house, I have a car, I do things, but I live paycheck to paycheck. Well, middle class people don't live paycheck to paycheck. Middle class people have stuff saved up. Every paycheck that comes, there's a little bit they have extra, etc. Anyways, other surveys have found that it is even worse than that. For example, a Pew Research Center study from the end of last year discovered that the middle class in America has now actually become a minority for the first time in this country. Here are some numbers that Clifton included in his article. Number one, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the percentage of the total U.S. adult population that has a full-time job has been hovering around 48% since 2010. Total number of U.S. adult population, full-time jobs, 48% since 2010. This is the lowest full-time employment level since 1983. The number of publicly listed companies trading on U.S. exchanges has been cut almost in half in the past 20 years, from about 7,300 to 3,700, because firms can't grow organically, that is, build more business from new and existing customers. They give up and pay high prices to acquire their competitors, thus drastically shrinking the number of U.S. public companies. And then, later on, they go bankrupt. This seriously contributes to the massive loss of U.S. middle-class jobs. Number three, the new business startups are at historical lows. Americans have stopped starting businesses, and the businesses that do start are growing at historically slow rates. Once upon a time, America was land of opportunity. We were the place where anything was possible and where entrepreneurship was greatly encouraged. But today we strangle small businesses to death with rules, regulations, red tape, and taxes. If we want a stronger middle class, we need to create a much better environment for the creation of small businesses. Small business ownership often lifts individuals into the middle class, and small businesses have traditionally been the primary engine for the growth of good jobs in this country. If the middle class continues to shrink, poverty will rise. It will continue to rise. Previously, I've written about how the number of homeless children in the United States has shot up by 60% since the last economic crisis, and Poverty USA claims that a staggering 1.6 million children slept either in a homeless shelter or in some other form of emergency housing during 2015. I remember covering that story about the kids in homeless shelters, and it was either in a shelter or living on the street, or at I think that's what the study was, either at a homeless shelter, living on the street, or living in someone else's house temporarily, kind of a thing, something like that. If you are sleeping in a warm bed in a comfortable home tonight, you should be thankful. An increasing number of Americans are sleeping in tent cities, in their vehicles, or on the streets. These hurting people deserve our love, our compassion, and our prayers. And I'm going to tell you a little story. First of all, to address the first one, if you will be sleeping in a warm bed in a comfortable home tonight, you should be thankful. Jason at 4, please raise your right hand. do you solemnly swear that you are extremely thankful for all these YouTube subscribers that watch your videos because you put those damn ads in there and you get a little bit of that money when those ads play? I do solemnly swear that I am extremely thankful for that. And I will be sleeping in a good bed tonight because that money helps me pay my rent. That's fantastic, and I love you guys. So the other thing, increasing number of Americans are sleeping in tent cities in their vehicles and on the streets. These hurting people deserve our love, our compassion, and our prayers. I feel kind of bad. The other night we were out, and one of her friends, my wife's friends on Facebook, posted, we're over at this Greek place in Ruskin, Florida. A little bit of a drive from here, not too bad. Maybe a 15-minute drive. And it's a Greek place. It's new. It's really, really good. So we decided, let's go check that place out tonight. Let's do something a little different. You always got to try something new. It's good. It goes on the good memory bank list. We'll go back. I'm here to tell you, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay. There's closer Greek restaurants that are good. So, again, you just go out there to do it. But on the way back, I said, we're getting ready to start this other YouTube channel for my kids. I mentioned I did that video. Thank you all who subscribed to the Free Toy Kids channel. My kids, as I mentioned, you see all these people on YouTube, some of these women, all you see is their hands opening toys and playing with toys, and they have millions of freaking views. Millions. Here I am, 6,000, 5,000 views. Again, I get it. People don't want to know this. They don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear what's coming. They don't want to know the truth. They want to be plugged into the matrix. And if you come into them, even if it's truthful, leave me alone. I want to live in my fantasy land. Okay, have fun. But my kids have been begging me for a channel. All right, I'll get this channel going. And I'll upload it. I'll control it because you guys aren't old enough to use YouTube. So it'll be my business channel, if you will. And anyway, so we left the Greek restaurant. And I thought, I bought a few toys, brand new in the box, sitting in my closet so we could do these videos. And I mentioned we're going to give these toys away. Every time they play with them, about a week later, the toy gets put on in a video. Sign up on our website. We will randomly select somebody who's going to get this toy. Hopefully a lot of needy people that used to be middle class, if you will. Oh, I can't afford to give my kids toys anymore. Fantastic. Who's this guy? Oh, he's Jason before he created a new channel. Oh, good. I love this guy. Thanks for giving me the toys. I won. Give me my toy. Give me my money, right? So I decided for our first video, we need to go kind of big. We need to put a video that says, "Whoa, look at all those toys that they're going to be giving away. Wow, I want to follow this channel because I want an opportunity to win some of these toys." That's what we're shooting for. So you don't buy a few toys. You got to buy a nice amount of toys. It'll be the video that we put on the advertisement because I'm going to have to advertise on YouTube through someone else's toy channel. Like the videos I put on mine, the ads. I'll be an ad on someone else's channel with my kids saying, here's what we're doing, etc. So I'm realizing I have to put a little money aside to pay for the advertising. But on top of that, got to buy some toys to do this. So we leave the Greek restaurant. Guys, Evelyn, you need to go to Target. There's one real close to us. Yeah, actually, we need a few groceries, some bread, some fruit and stuff. Yeah, and the kids, we need to check, see if they got some shoes. Okay, no problem. Let's go. Perfect. Go down there, get some new toys. What's the new hot stuff? It's on TV right now. Okay, let's get a couple of these things. My wife's like, these little packages are like $3 a piece. It's like the new thing on YouTube. You open it, it's like a surprise package of a Shopkin or some freaking toy, whatever the hell it is, and you don't know what you're gonna. It's a Nancy Pelosi. It's like Nancy Pelosi in a bag. You don't know what you're gonna get until you open it, until we pass the law. And the kids love it. Oh, get a few of those. Or $2-3. Grab like half a dozen. So while we're walking in to Target, parking and then walking in, I saw her both times. I see a lady out front of Target, not by the street, but literally close by the door, a little bit of ways away, not 20 steps, something like that. And there's a kid with her, and I see a sign in her hand. Can't read the sign, but her facial expression tells me I might have once been in middle class. I might be one of those people that Jason Info talks about that has not become less fortunate due to the club, the country, the politicians, these rotten bastards at the top. And I thought to myself, I have some cash in my pocket. I almost never have cash in my pocket. I just hardly ever have cash in my pocket. I got cash in my pocket today. Okay, when I get out of the store, if that lady's still standing here, I had like 15 or 20 bucks. I'm going to give it to her. I'm going to give it to her. Thinking to myself, here I am, going into freaking Target, trying to start this new YouTube channel for my kids and all that. And if it does well, fantastic. It'll be another side job my kids can take off when they get older. Guys, you don't have to work. You just take over the Free Toy Kids channel. It's yours. Have fun. You split the revenue. You know, it may take years to build up. I don't know. But here I am thinking, my sorry butt's going in here to buy freaking, oh, besides the minimal groceries, I'm going to buy toys. I might have spent $100 or so, or just on the toys itself, possibly, maybe a little bit more. I'm not, somewhere around there. And the first time I went, I spent about $110 or so. So I can't help myself. I'm going in here to buy toys, and this freaking lady is standing out here. I'm not sure what she's doing, but I got a pretty good idea based off of my intuition of what I'm seeing. She might be asking for some financial assistance. You got a couple bucks. Woman standing with her kid with a sign in her hand. Can't read the sign. What else is she doing? And I kicked myself in the ass after I left that store because she wasn't there. She had already left. I said, damn it, why didn't I just walk up to her? Why didn't I just walk up to her before I went in the damn store? I could at least kind of went that way to see what the sign said to make sure that's what she was needing. And I thought, because I know you'll think, well, people are scamming you. There's so many scammers out there, man. These people, they stand on the streets and then they get in their freaking Mercedes and leave. There's been stories in Tampa about these people. They look homeless and they get in a freaking Mercedes and drive off after they made, a couple $100 for the day. And I've heard those stories. But the facial expression, they're dragging their kid out. Was it a ploy to get more money? Could be. But I couldn't stop helping myself from thinking, I'm in here going to go buy these freaking toys. I'm getting it for a purpose. I'm not just buying them for my kids to be spoiled. They're going to get rid of those damn toys. We're giving those toys away to other needy people. So the money's still going in a good spot. But, well, I say needy people. Anybody can sign up for these free toys whenever we do the raffle or whatever. I'm hoping that these people who win are needy rather than someone who doesn't need the freaking thing. Their parents buy them everything. Don't sign up. But I should have went over there. Right off the bat. And I saw it, I felt it, and I said, well, I'm just going to go in here. We're just going to get those. We'll be out and out pretty quick. But then I can't find a shoe. Let me try some more shoes. Okay, let me go back over here. Waste a little bit of time in the store. Time we got out there, gone. Long gone. I said, damn it. The one time I've got a couple bucks on me, 15 or 20, whatever it was. Even if she was faking it. You're bringing your kid out there to stand there with a sign. Call me whatever you want. I was going to try to help. But I was kind of feeling bad about that. I'm reading this. It's bringing back the hurtful memory. Jay Snip, why are you going to buy freaking toys and the lady needed a couple bucks, man? I was going to give it to her. She left. I could have walked right up there. Here you go. And then I would have never even thought about it while I was in the store. I would have said, I already gave her some money. Good for her. Hopefully that helped her. Maybe she's behind on her mortgage payment, rent payment. She could use that a little bit. Every little bit helps. But you always have to wonder, is someone faking me out right now? Because everybody in this moralless society is out to screw everybody else. And they'll do things to trick the living hell out of you to make you think. That's what it is. I like to watch on Sunday nights, John Taffer Bar Rescue. These bars are failing. The people are, again, middle-class family, whatever. They're about to die. Not die, but the company is dead. It's going under. The bar, we can last 2 or 3 months and we're finished. John Taffer, please help us. He comes in, screams at the people because he says how moronic they were acting. All right, now let's fix your bar. And he goes in to put $150,000 in a bar, free of charge, just to be on the show. We'll fix you up, and hopefully all these customers, come back and you start doing well. And many times, the bars succeed. Not always, but they do. So I like seeing that. Someone helping someone else out, and it works. I love that. And they had this episode that I was watching. I don't know if it was this Sunday. Maybe it was this Sunday. And it's basically the same thing. Someone is in need. They're about to lose it all. He steps in and saves them. But the guy was kind of an asshole at first to people. He was getting very upset, and they're writing reviews about his business, his restaurant / bar, and the reviews aren't good. And he's fighting with them, calling them names in the response to the reviews. You don't do that. Online reviews will kill you. Your business. You're finished. So he's like, the reason I'm getting so defensive is because I'm a former serviceman. So was my brother. We served. My brother was injured. He lost his eye. And he had some money saved up. I had money saved up. They worked for a contractor at the time, I guess, because they could speak some type of Middle Eastern dialect of one of those nations over there. So they were useful. They made a couple bucks each. They put their money in together to start this restaurant bar, and now they've just about lost it all. But he says, when it really started going downhill, I was in a drive-through, getting something to eat, and I saw this man. He appeared to be homeless. I thought, I started talking for a minute. He said he was a veteran and this and that, and I'm a veteran. I said, okay, let me buy you lunch today. Get in my car, let's go. He says, I got to film this. You mind me filming this just to show people? I want to put like a GoFundMe page up. I want to start supporting guys like you, help guys like you, and people need to see this. Was that okay? Yeah, sure. So he films it. $20,000 is generated quickly in the GoFundMe page, and then it comes out later. Someone recognizes the guy that he thought was a veteran, all that, and he's not a veteran. He scammed you. He's a complete scammer. Nothing he said about it. He wasn't even a veteran. So now he looks bad. What did you do with that money we gave you? You stole it. No, I didn't. It's still sitting in the account. He says, I'm scared to do anything with it if I don't put it in the right place. I don't want to take it out. They'll think I'm keeping it. So it's still sitting in the account. So John Taffer says, we'll take care of that. And at the end, okay, they found the place that they were going to donate to. They had a big gathering. The mayor came, big check. Those big checks they hand to some fund or whatever, or foundation, not the Hillary Clinton Foundation. And $20,000 signed, here you go. So it was public. They saw the money went to a good place. It had a good ending. But that's what I want to tell you. If a guy's willing to say he's a veteran and I got hurt and no one's supporting me, and they pull on those heartstrings, let me help this guy. But again, I got 15 or 20 bucks in my pocket. I'll take a chance that this woman needed it with her kid standing there. But I freaking missed it. And I'm bothered by that because I can't go back and redo it. Maybe the next time I go, she'll be there. And if she is, excuse me, I don't have any cash on me. Stay here till I come out. I got a 20 spot for you, okay? Anyways, the fall of the New Age Roman Empire known as America, middle class, red flags, red sirens blaring everywhere. Alert, 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 problem. And then you look up news, Obama, government. Oh, everything's fine. Matter of fact, if anyone tells you it's not fine, you tell them to stop peddling fiction. Oh, we must be doing real well. Then why is this crap happening? Take care.